Hoffman is he's a teacher.
Yeah.
In the green team. Sarah McNutt, I'm being in the Corporation Council office for Racine County. What did she put in for? And that's valuable.
Elder Services, Library, HRC. Jail? Or Sarah. Yeah, she did. Sarah did. Yeah.
Parks, Pet and Bike, Public Art, Rec Advisory, Conservation, Library. I don't know if the conservation really needs a legal help though. Do you guys know if any of these people attended a meeting?
Travis Bloomberg is the ED at Waste Cap as an MS in environmental field.
So what I wanted to do.
Oh, I understand. Okay.
I mean, I feel like his background, I don't know his background.
Where is his, I don't see his application in here.
Oh, it's in that email from
Yeah,
Sarah.
I see, I got it.
Debbie, he's a director.
A little more along that as opposed to, we got a bill in January, processing in January.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the orientation, there's some discussion about conflict of interest and, right?
Is Waste Cap the one that has the, it's like a warehouse and you can go and they have a lot of house?
I'm not sure if the retail
I think that's, so you're thinking of that home, the Habitat for Humanity place?
No, the Waste Cap, I think Waste Cap, if it's still open, it was like, you go as if you're going to the domes, but you kind of go up the slope instead of down. And it's, they would go when houses or other things were being torn down and take a lot of the hardware. There's like that little old doors there. They have a lot of just like wood and barn wood and, I've gotten some really cool things there. Yeah, he seems to have a great.
They do have an architectural salvage place.
Yeah, architectural salvage, that's what I was talking about, yeah. Is it still
But
open?
then, no, I'm just looking at their website. But then they have consulting and other things as well.
Yeah, I think he would be really interesting, and then Noah Kaufman.
Yeah.
There's stores.
There's Christina Starkus, who was a librarian at Marquette. Joseph Kleiner's an engineer. Maybe we should give a couple names. Why don't we give a couple names to Josh and ask him to maybe contact them and get input from him?
Sure.
Okay. So certainly, Bloomberg, which was
Yeah.
first.
Travis.
Okay.
I think Noah Kaufman would also be a good one.
Who's going off conservation? Sue Murphy, William Rowland. Yep. Conservation is one of those groups that really works together well. They really come together and they do a lot, they work together well.
And I feel like they bring forth
You know what?
bring forth really good ideas.
Yeah. What about, we have Michael Guth and Alex Hiley is the one who applied for a lot of things. I mean, conservation, if they're interested and enthusiastic, like someone who wants to just get involved and volunteer, conservation is a good opportunity for that.
So are you thinking Mr. Duke for that?
Yeah, and how it's formally.
Which one?
Alex Hiley and Michael Guth, who are Goth.
Who was the other one? Alex.
Alex Hiley, HIGH. See, he applied to a lot of different committees too.
Right.
So I feel like someone who's like just enthusiastic, you know, that this would be a good place for them to
Well,
start.
one day will be whatever day, but the post date
But again, they probably should go to a conservation committee meeting and find out, you know, what they're doing. Joseph Kleiner's an engineer.
probably saying, I've done that, I've had it, I forgot to do it.
I mean, I don't think we want, how many is that?
There's 4, and there's 2 spots.
Oh,
How many do we want to recommend to them? And when is their next meeting?
I mean, I'm okay with, so who did we have? Bloomberg, Booth, Hiley, and who was the fourth?
I have Bloomberg, Hoffman, Booth, and Heidi.
Oh,
The
Colin,
other
yeah.
trick is for me, my skill set was proof.
Did you say Booth?
Booth, G-U-T-H.
So,
He and Alex Hiley are both relatively new residents, I believe, who've applied to a ton of things,
Right.
which to me says they're enthusiastic and want to get involved, and this is a good, you know.
I agree with that.
Yeah, okay. So doing those 4 or
don't
do
do
you want
any other gift.
to, okay,
Any additional? All right, then I will,
What about, just to add, have one woman on there, Christina Starkus, she's, was a librarian at Marquette for a long time.
she also like had
Library board.
Yeah, she went to PAD, conservation, library. We don't, the library doesn't need anybody,
not at this time.
Oh, okay. All right.
what do you think we should add a fifth or?
Actually, I'm
well, but, I mean, she also applied to Ed, I mean, I wonder if her experience maybe is a little bit more.
She talks more about PAD and her general interest, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So,
All right, great, we got
Okay.
through, all right, conservation.
I will forward those 4 to Tyler to work with Josh.
Services.
Okay.
I did not get to elder services at all, so who's Dina Octavili, Maria Breitbart, Maria Breitbart, 52-year resident, Michael, Susan Kearns, Michael Colawole, I looked at him. I mean, this actually is one that we have had some concerns about, yep, conflict of interest too.
Okay. I do know that Elizabeth was expecting, she had spoken with Susan Kearns and
Okay.
Joanna Pappin, John Pappin.
Yeah.
So I know there was definite interest there at the time when, you know, we were considering filling that vacancy, and then decided to wait until the reappointments. That doesn't mean, you know, that's who you have to choose, so.
So Susan Kearns, looks like does a website. Would be helpful to know what Elizabeth needs on their board. I mean, there's some,
Like,
I can see if she
Cruise,
tried to email
masters, they,
like,
I think like the
Be in it.
nursing.
right,
Yeah.
to be in it, to Adaveli is currently with healthcare, in the healthcare plan. There's,
Let me see if she responds.
Maria Breitbart, who has volunteered for many groups and stuff,
Yeah, long-term resident.
long-term
This
resident.
person, Chris Yao Sher Ling, I'm not finding their application. What do
It's
you
in a
think?
different spelling.
Yeah, I think it's in a different
It
spelling
was up
order.
higher.
Yeah.
List.
What's it under though?
I don't know.
It might have been under Kraus, yeah.
Oh, Kraus,
Yeah,
okay.
maybe.
Which one are you looking for?
Oh, I found it. Kraus Yao Sher Ling.
In the spreadsheet, it has Cher Ling as the last name, but I
Oh.
think it should be Kraus, yeah.
Got it.
Interpreter, has lived here nearly 2 years. Intensive training for elderly chaplaincy program covering all levels of care needed in summer 2019.
It was Judith Nazy, who volunteers at the senior center and also runs a bunch of different bereavement groups and stuff, like support groups. I don't know, she just applied on the 18th of April. I don't know, was it a senior one or?
I do not believe she has.
I mean, this one we have traditionally, because they manage the Benjamin Fund and a program area, kind of like library board, I would want to have some idea from Elizabeth before making an appointment personally. We always have in the past.
If there's a few names that you would want, same thing to recommend, you know, that you like the applications, I'm happy to supply them to her, to get her feedback on what she needs for that position.
Yeah.
I mean, I would suggest the same thing too. I would send an email and, well, I don't know, do we ask her for her to review the applications and talk to a couple of people and give us a recommendation? Or do we suggest to everyone that they go to the next meeting of the ESAB and?
I would have her review it.
Yeah, I definitely want to hear from her.
Yeah, and then talk with, that's how I kind of did, check in with people to kind of explore what their interest is, if there's any questions, and make a recommendation.
I mean, I feel like, you know, with this board, there is more than just like a liaison, you know, and so, I mean, I would be interested to see what she has to say and what, you know, who could fill those needs. It's different than, you know, DRB and some of those other. I mean, I think I feel comfortable giving her all of those applications and saying, take a look and tell us.
Yeah,
what
I
you
can give
think.
I can give all of them.
Okay.
How many are there?
There's not that many. How many? There's 10.
Maybe 11, yeah, 10, 11.
Oh,
Yeah, there's not that.
And we could tell her to take Michael Booth out
I
of
was gonna say,
it.
do you want to take Michael Booth up?
Yeah.
He's being considered at,
Yes.
or
Yeah.
conservation, I mean.
Conservation,
Okay.
should we ask her to come back with a couple names or just ask her to come back with who she wants?
Yeah, maybe 2.
Two,
Yeah.
and she can order them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
her
her
preference.
yeah.
And maybe if she wants to put in writing, you know, what, if there's someone who she really is excited about because they fit, you know, then I want to know that, you know?
Yep,
So if she
absolutely.
could just return comments to us, would be great. Sure.
Okay.
Dude, knock that one off. Okay, we're actually making progress.
So, kind of
All
like.
right, we're gonna-
All right, kind of like, who was the person
Who was
that
that
just
one that we
talked? Yeah.
Oh, that's a girl.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Who was that person who was just, oh,
It was
God.
on conservation, hold on.
Yes, yeah. we can do that.
Let me tell you. Christina Starkus.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, see, I didn't have her on the list for
I see her, oh wait, because there's 2 emails. See, maybe she didn't- oh yeah, here she is.
There was one person who worked with, Hanson, volunteered with blind people. I mean, I think that what Pet and Bike, when I was liaison to that, there's always people who are interested in, you know, who are like real fit, active people, who are doing a lot of running and a lot of biking. Rachel and Jen Baines, by the way, who are inspirational and amazing, but I think, although, you know, both of them have kids too, so they're concerned about school children getting to school and safety. But I think what I would love to have would be a person with disabilities, you know, and I
Or
don't
a
know.
senior, I
Or a
also think that
senior, yeah.
perspective, and I've heard this, I don't know about you guys a lot, but the walkability and the mobility issue, especially in the winter,
Yes.
for seniors, which, I mean, I would assume this, a lot of the seniors have some mobility, disability issues. You know, I think that would, and that's kind of what she's talking about, including people with disabilities, about the condition of our sidewalks, and, you know, I agree, I think that would be really helpful.
Mhm.
It's not the same perspective, but
You know, this might be a great list too, when we're talking about the setting up the advisory groups for the transportation study. You know, all these people
Oh,
have
yeah.
expressed interest in pedestrian and safety conditions, and so they might be, I think we should keep all these names. I mean, I suggested to Art, all of us get emails about a particularly bad intersection or things that happen. So I suggested that we go back on our emails and just create a list of everyone who's contacted us either about a traffic transportation issue or about a parking issue. You know, rather than, and this is kind of off topic and off agenda, so I probably shouldn't be talking about it, but rather than doing what we did in Wilson Drive, where we like asked everybody, and then same as this, had all these applications, and then let's go back and look at people who contacted us about these issues, and use that as a tool to try to set up the advisory groups. Anyway, sorry for that aside. Okay. What about Maria Brightback, because there's a couple people who indicated they're retired, if we want that perspective.
so so do we, before we move on to her, do we like Christina Starkis?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so we just,
Maria Brightback has been a village resident for 52 years. She's retired. She found out about it from the Civic Information Center in the library. All right.
she's volunteered on some other.
Yes. Her application is pretty brief, so
Yeah.
there's not a lot
Right.
of. Do you know
her
her like?
experience with diversity?
I might by sight, but not, no.
Yeah.
What else?
Are we going to do the same, like send a couple of names to Rachel and ask her to give us an input, or?
You can,
Yeah.
I mean,
I had Kyla she's a student, bike mechanic and advocate. I guess she'd be a younger person. I don't know if we have one senior, a very active senior already on the committee, but yeah, more, now that the senior, our plan is a lot about pedestrian safety. It would be good to get another more perspective of a senior perspective of pedestrian safety.
Enrique Figueroa also put in to be on,
Yeah.
and he's, well, he's retired too. I don't want to say he's a senior, but he's retired.
Yeah.
Rupel is a communications professor and a runner, which is a little different. I don't know, I was worried about someone that associated with bikes, you know, because I think we already have, well, so Matt Peasley left, right?
Correct, that's who you would be
We're
replacing.
replacing Matt Peasley. So Matt actually was not a particularly biking, you know, he didn't seem to have a particular focus. I don't know, I mean, maybe we should put her name forward for Rachel to,
which one is this, Baird Rappel or?
Kayla Johnson.
Oh,
Oh, and it was Hanson who had the experience with blind people, volunteering for the blind.
Okay.
Let me see. He has 16 years, homemaker, wood burn. I hope to facilitate more and safer movement by cyclists and pedestrians in Shorewood. Balance with the reality that motor vehicles must also be accommodated.
Right.
Should be BS in engineering.
or did you say something
Yeah.
about the
volunteer experience working with the visually impaired. So, I don't know, I mean, that's not the same as being visually impaired, obviously.
I like that balance though, that we're really trying to, you know,
Yeah,
it's not all just one, and especially as we're dealing with the kind of the transportation issue,
Right.
the whole mix of things.
yeah. So
He's
then
got an
that-
engineering background too, which
that would be 3, is
Okay,
that
so
3?
Erin, is it Erin Republic one? I have Christina and then Kayla.
And then, yeah, the other one was Erin.
Rupel.
Oh,
So we have
how many do we?
Maria Breitbach, should we put forward Ernesto? What did he, what else, or Enrique, I'm sorry. Enrique put, oh, he put a lot of things.
Use a lot.
CDA parks, ped bike, plan, police, public art. Enrique might be great for parks, actually.
We haven't gotten there yet, but yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And we have 2 appointments for parks.
Oh, there's one that she needs assistance with. So there's 2 openings, I believe she.
Oh, sorry,
Somebody-
sorry,
so
yes,
there's one.
sorry,
Yeah.
okay.
I just tried texting her and she didn't text back.
Yeah, I've not heard from her either.
So where are we at on?
We might, for parks, we do, once we get there, we do 2, and then she can choose between those 2.
So we're gonna have Rachel review Christina, Kayla, and Erin then? Is there any additional ones?
Christina,
Christina.
Can you do the last?
Starkis?
yeah, that last name.
Yep, sorry, Christina Starkis, Kayla Johnson, Erin Rupel.
We got Maria Breitbach.
Oh, yeah.
Hanson, did you have Hanson on there?
Hanson,
Chris Hansen.
Chris Hansen, okay.
Kayla
Hansen,
Johnson.
really quick.
Kayla Johnson, Christina Starkis, Hanson, and Breitbach.
Okay, so we have 4.
And Erin Rupel?
Aaron,
Yes,
who,
Aaron
RuPaul?
Rupel.
Yeah. So the,
Oh, I'm not sure about RuPaul, what do you guys think?
Uh,
Communications perfect.
HD Communication, Professor Edith,
well, primarily a runner, and then
Yeah.
commuting piece, that he or she commutes, via foot or bike to work. I'm assuming that that's what that means.
I mean, I think that her experience in communications is like a valuable skill set for any committee. What else did she think for anything else?
Nope.
It's interesting how Ped and Bike had, you know,
Yes.
people who were
Very
particularly
passionate
interested in
about
Ped
it,
and Bike.
yes.
Right. Yeah, I had her marked as.
You did?
Yeah. kind of
Yeah, let's
last
put her name on.
slide.
I'll submit those 5 then.
All right.
Okay.
And if, you know, if Rachel wants to like ask other committee members to help her, you know, I mean, I think we should communicate to her and did we say to Josh too? Yep. Like, whatever process they want to use, however, if they want to just decide on their own or if they
Sure.
want to contact these people.
Sure.
Or ask other people to contact them.
I'll follow up with Tyler on that because I know he'll probably be in communication with the 2 of them.
Yeah, okay.
Good.
All right, parks, I haven't heard from Allison.
That's why I said maybe we just do 2. She only needs help with 1, but then if there are 2 openings, so we do 2, and then she can decide on.
Well, and, you know, you could pick somebody and then they could decline. So it would be good to have a backup plan.
All right, yeah, for parks. Okay, parks. So we saw Enrique.
I'm gonna, yeah, I'm gonna probably look at that. Did you read that?
Oh, Julie Bradisey is someone, a longtime resident and is someone I know. And I think, I mean, okay, where are these? There it goes. I just because I know her, 33-year resident. She uses the parks on a daily basis all year long. With hikers, walkers, golfers, I'm concerned with improving and maintaining green spaces.
Sorry, just to go back
What
to
was her
Enrique
name
really
again?
quick.
Bradisey,
Brad R.
Bradisey.
Okay.
Enrique's application was from
Yeah, I had
2018.
her.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know that he,
She's was a former PTO president.
Yeah,
so
she's,
that would be helpful.
Julie is like a very, you know, she's not a very like talking blah, 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 that kind of person. I mean, she sort of sits and watches and is quiet but she's a consistent volunteer. Like she's someone who contributes. She's not like someone who talks a lot and then backs out at the last minute. Like she's, you know,
Right.
she is like a more, and Bonnie Pedrosa is like that too, like a more quiet, but like ready to come and contribute
Right.
and she's retired, she has time. But, you know, I know her, but, so,
Right, that'd be helpful. The Parks Commission seems, it could use, they used to have a few people that were part of like the Little League or more organized
yes.
youth activities, and then not quite as, we don't really have that, quite as, the depth of that on the Parks Commission at this point. So that would,
Isn't that Mark Schill, wasn't he what's on?
yeah, he's still there, but it just, the emphasis hasn't been quite as much, you know, on youth leagues or facilities for youth leagues. And so that'd be helpful, somebody who has that experience, especially PTO experience, kind of getting people organized and stuff.
Right, right. So, I mean, I mean, I'd certainly put her name forward and Enrique. Who else do we have?
Joe Pecky.
Who?
Joe Pecky.
Oh, okay. Who you know, I
I
don't
know
know.
him.
Which, what was his last name?
Zepecky with his Z.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
And I think he could be, I think a young, they have 2 young-ish kids.
PR and stuff.
Mostly for political people, but he's somewhat similar. Like, he can make a lot happen. Who else did he apply for?
I just see on an aside too, can we send something out even if someone is not put forward or you know, for consideration, like send an email out to people thanking them for their interest? and-
Yeah.
Okay.
So what, once the appointment is done, process is done, I will send out congratulation letters to those who are appointed, letters of thanks to those who served and are no longer serving, and then I kind of do one email and blind carbon, you know, so people don't see other people's email address in a group, just to say, you know, your application had been considered by JPL this time, you know, they're not moving forward. Please know that we'll keep it on file, and, you know, obviously it'll be pretty much nicer.
Sure.
But we do inform them.
We
Okay.
might want to, at that point, like some of these were 2016.
Yeah, I would
Let's
stick in
say
there.
we're going to keep it on
File,
file,
and
or
if
if
you-
you wish to reapply.
Yes,
I mean, we
yeah.
should cut, because this is the
And
list is.
I definitely think if, you know, JPL chooses to move forward to review this policy, because I think it needs, you know, we need a better plan than sitting here in the middle of May trying to come up with this. That's something to be considered at that time, because you hate, you know, you hate to be going through someone's application and then they're not a resident, they no longer want to be considered, they've had, you know, they didn't even know we still had it on file to be considered. You know, so I don't think that's ever been discussed, because I don't think there's been this multitude that's still been filed. Yeah, I think, you know, when I came in, I think we had all like 10, you know, for everybody, so.
When you send that out, do we want to just ask, do you want us to keep your
Yes.
application active? Please reply yes or
Yeah.
no, so we,
Yeah.
people are like no longer in,
Yeah.
their jobs
Yeah.
changed.
The village is clean out.
Okay, so.
Okay,
we
so-
have to-
Oh. All over the library,
So who do
searching
we-
for it. Okay. But I
Yeah.
haven't found it. Oh, and then.
I have Enrique
Oh.
Figueroa and Julie
Right.
Reyes.
Oh, I don't know.
And then I will talk about Joe's.
It takes a lot for
There
this.
is agreement on that or not.
I mean, I'm fine with it.
And then what is so we would make a recommendation of 2 people, and then President Rosick would decide on, like, we would, how would that work? We did a recommendation for 2 people.
Yep.
And then she would decide on.
Yeah, so I believe, I think she has somebody in mind, because there's 2 spots, I think
Right.
somebody in mind for the 1 spot. I would probably move these 3 forward to her to consider. And then, you know, if that person too may not choose to fill that spot that she's considering, at least then there's 3 names that she can choose from.
And should we maybe rank those?
I was gonna say,
in
if you
order?
would like to rank them,
Our
that
first choice,
that would be probably.
second choice, and third choice. and
Because
then-
if she asks me, I'm not gonna be able to
Right.
answer.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so Straczynski did the Citizens Academy. He's part of 2018 city, I mean, I think doing the Citizens Academy, and also, gee, like, it would be nice if Tyler. He has some political science communication studies, master's in public administration, worked at Manpower Group for the past 3 years, currently a member of Employee Volunteer Council. Prior to Manpower, I worked as a consultant at the Chicago Housing Authority for nearly 4 years. Anyway,
Okay.
seems like he,
And I think doing the Citizen Academy,
He's the plan,
yeah.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
like that.
I had him down.
you did,
Yeah,
okay,
Andrew?
yeah.
Yes.
I had him as.
So we have 4 names, unless we want to add, or would you like to rank the 4?
Well, I'm still
Could you go
looking.
over the
Yeah, go, can you?
Julie?
Oh, Pat Wilson put in for Parks, he's my neighbor.
Uh-oh.
We share,
Condolences
thanks, Mike. We share a compost bin, so I know.
All right,
Nice.
that's pretty, that's like,
That's your neighborly.
that's really big.
It's really neat, like, they always put the compost in a nice bag and I just dump it out.
Oh, great.
So I'm like the slob, and he's
Where
really
do you
neat.
see-
He's actually, you know
Wilson.
Pat, do you know Pat Wilson?
I know, yes, yeah.
And they're real avid gardeners too,
Yeah.
Okay.
they've done a lot of gardening. Yeah, I would definitely put Pat forward.
I don't see his application.
Oh, his,
It was late, it was separate, I think.
Oh, that
Yes,
was separate.
yeah.
Okay,
We got it separate.
okay.
All right.
so if we do we put Enrique for this one?
Yep, I have Enrique Figueroa, Julie Bradis, Joseph Zepecki, Andrew Straczynski, and Pat Wilson.
Okay, I think, like, let's just give those names to Allison and see if these are,
2,
from looking at it, who we felt.
3,
Yeah, I was just saying, do we want to rank them? So like she's,
I think.
Well, and I mean, I do feel like traditionally, not all the time, of course, but when someone has shown the interest to run for a position on the board, we do give someone an opportunity to serve on one of the committees and commissions. So we'd like to offer, I think it's Chris Jessica is blackballed, but except for Jessica, we. But I mean, it's just a nice way to let someone be involved because they did put forth the effort and time to run. I think she said rec and parks.
Did she say parks?
I think she, oh, did she not say
She
that?
didn't say parks.
First I have 1.
Oh, yeah,
She's requesting assistance.
She just said rec, but she, I know she was also interested in parks.
I mean, how many people, who do we have also?
Yeah, there's
for
2
rec?
positions on parks. What?
I was just saying, so I'm just saying, she indicated that she was interested in rec, and I was just looking to see who else had applied for rec.
Well, I mean, I don't know, since it's not on here that she put it on the application, I don't know what we can, but Allison knows that she's interested, so.
I do know she followed up with me to make sure that
What?
application was still on file.
Copy.
Yeah.
So,
So there's 6 total. One of them is that Michael Booth again, because I think he marked everything. And then there's an RJ Vidloff. Michael Chabani, then Michael Booth again, Catherine Lamancy, Sarah McNutt, and Kathy Stofring.
I mean, I just wonder if that's what you applied for, and I'm interested in, like, do we,
And I did review her application, and it is just the one item was selected.
So what,
Yeah,
this was
so
from
it's for-
this from 3/13, it's from last year.
Correct.
This is before she, yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't we, maybe put Kathy in parentheses? I mean, I don't know, Allison knows she's interested, and Allison's making the appointment.
She's not even gonna give us one of the appointments. So what the hell? She's
Yeah.
gonna ignore the
No, I think
committees.
she will say these are people we all felt were qualified if you wanted to, or we felt would be an addition. I mean, everyone's qualified.
Do we want to rank the people we actually have applications for the Parks Commission, or do we?
and are you saying to add Kathy to the Parks Commission?
No, I don't think so, because
Okay.
we don't, I mean, I think Allison already knows she's
Yeah.
interested, so, yeah.
Okay.
Who, I don't know, it's hard to rank based on just people.
I know.
Right.
Can you repeat the names one more time?
Enrique Figueroa, Julie Braddis, Joseph Zepecki, Andrew Straczynski, and Pat Wilson.
It is really hard to rank.
Yeah, like, I would have a hard time ranking.
I mean, maybe we
Is
feel,
somebody gonna reach out to make sure these people are still interested before we get to the appointment
right.
process?
I mean, because Enrique's application is from a year ago, more than a year ago.
I mean, I can have her review them. She can make a referral, and I'm happy to reach out, just
Okay.
to verify that they would, and we can go to the second one if it happens.
Yeah, I mean, it's her appointment, I mean, I think it's fine to just give some names that we felt were good.
Yeah.
And it's up to her, I mean, and it's her appointment, so she can contact the person and make sure they're interested in doing it.
Right.
As I'm trying to teach my 12-year-old, with freedom comes responsibility. If you want to be the one making the appointment, then you can take responsibility.
How's that going?
That's a hard lesson to learn.
Yeah.
That was a tough age.
Okay, so then we just have
And then there's just rec left.
So that's what
I think
Kathy
we should just,
originally
yeah, I mean,
applied for.
I feel like we should offer her an opportunity
Right.
to be more involved in.
Obviously, we're preparing the packet tomorrow for Monday, so with additional meetings, for HRC and stuff, I would, an application needing to be reviewed by other staff members and President Rosick. I would assume you're not placing this on the agenda for Monday. I would think it's probably a little
It's
too
Seems a little
soon,
aggressive.
yes, and I don't want to come with incomplete information. And I don't know if we'll have the time to even reach out to all these individuals prior to including that. So I would plan for the first meeting in June, if everyone's okay with that.
Could we just give an update to the rest of the board? as to what we
Absolutely,
did?
and I can definitely put a memo together.
Okay.
I probably will go off of what the JPL memo was in the packet and just build off of what the next steps are. And then until those appointments are made, if people do have meetings, I'll just let the committees know that anybody that, has expired or resigned, that they'll serve until those appointments are made, if everyone's comfortable with that. Because there may be meetings in between now and that June, maybe it's June 4th meeting, that they may need people for quorums. So,
Right.
I believe under
or maybe it's June 3rd, yep.
Under Robert's rules of quorum, we might want to check that, because I think quorum sometimes is of members present as
Okay.
opposed to a number of people on a committee or commission.
Okay.
So, unless it's, so maybe somebody should check Robert's rules, and unless there's a code, or state statute specifically specifying the quorum, but
Okay, I will definitely, because I know he had given this guide, and it came in late last night, so I apologize, I hadn't seen it till this morning. You know, with the individual ordinance establishing the various boards, committees, and commissions state that all members serve until their successors have been appointed. Thus, if no replacement is named for a variety of reasons, which might include there being no other current candidates for a position, if the appointing authority otherwise makes no new appointment, or a pro-offered candidate is voted down and the existing member continues to serve, and his or her actions are valid. But I can double check, you know, if we're just in delayed process of appointment, how that would, you know, relate.
No, I'm saying that quorum,
Yep,
a quorum is not necessarily, like if there's 7 people on the
Yep.
village board, a quorum is 4.
yep,
But there's, if it says, it probably says in the code, a quorum is 4. But if it doesn't say specifically, then we follow Robert's rules.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure under Robert's rules, I think a quorum is, I'm not sure what.
of all active members, maybe.
You know, I'm just,
You know, like kind of like-
thinking about it, it
Yeah.
doesn't make sense. But,
And I don't think there's a ton of me, you know,
Right, I mean, between
Memorial
now-
Day is coming in
June,
between.
but- right,
Yeah.
between now, I think, as we were talking about listening,
Oh,
you know, having people go to like HRC and stuff, all of that, I think is after June.
that was June
Third.
13th, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think,
So,
I think we
Pretty
could, and if,
We
it
might do
depends
one.
on you guys, if you want to do the appointments for everything but HRC on June 3rd, and then, make the HRC appointments at the next meeting, which I think would be the 17th.
Yeah, I think that seems reasonable.
Yeah.
And, you know, we were gonna make appointments active as of June 1st anyway, so it's only giving 2 days. We're
Right.
just, I know we were gonna
Yeah,
have
that's
training May 30th, we can just kind of reschedule some of that
Okay.
process around.
yeah.
I'd also, you know, we have that guide for members of boards and commissions.
Yes.
What Jeff was talking about conflict of interest. I mean, I think we could beef up, like what, or maybe we already have the state statute in there of what conflict of interest, but
I think it's in there. I know I've been trying to go through and revamp it and just give them a little more like bullet points of like the nuts and bolts of what, you know, someone who isn't used to running a meeting of how it should go and kind of like what the general Robert's rules are and, you know, someone needs to take notes and how motion goes, things like that. I think what's put together is really great for like a new trustee or maybe a planning commissioner, but some of the general ones, they don't need as much detail to study. They just really need to know if they're compliant with ethics and if there's a conflict of interest and how a motion works and if a motion gets voted down and what next to do. So I think those are a lot of the questions that come up.
So do they get training on the general
Mark, when you get up
ethics?
next, can you
What
stop
should
by?
trigger it, like,
Yep,
start
so,
thinking about?
yep, I am in the process right now of putting the training together, which obviously will happen after they're appointed. And so I can definitely beef up that kind of code of ethics or, more of like conflict of interest right now until I guess, you know, the board really dives into the code of ethics and what they want that to look like. But you know, what is a conflict of interest, how does that look, and you know, if you're unsure, what should you, who should you see? Right, because I think a lot of times people have their best, they don't even realize that they could be doing something, they're just trying to help somebody, you know.
Or they don't.
Or they
I mean,
don't,
you may
yeah.
be just a
You-
general
you just
member
don't
on
know.
that block
Yeah.
that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Certain things are not a conflict.
Yep, so we kind of go over all those pieces and then like how to run a meeting and who is your staff liaison and what to expect, you know, as far as communication from them and things like that. So, so if there's anything that's, you know, you're thinking about this that you want included in that training, and we do invite the village board to come, so if you're, you know, you're welcome to come. But we can definitely, you know, emphasize that.
I think it'd be worth for us to look at go over that whole binder because I think it's really important for them to realize, oh, I'm the Parks Commission, but here's pet and bike safety and what do they do and what does conservation do? And, you know, just to have that overall picture, especially because we do get a lot of newer people, you know.
Yep.
Okay.
Good.
Motions.
Timeline seemed, May 1st.
So
getting this done is really not realistic.
no,
but,
it,
you know, the application deadline needs to be earlier.
there's a lot of pressure on in my office the last like 15 days. No, I definitely, realization came that we were very late on the postcard and trying to do, you know, one mailing with everything.
Right.
So I think definitely we need to look at what that timeline looks like, because I think in March this starts, you almost need to sit down and have this meeting in case there's, or April right away after,
Yeah.
you know, if there's a new board,
Right.
because those applications.
I think weren't we scheduled to have? No, we did, I thought we did, yeah. So I think that postcard file needs to go out earlier.
Correct.
To call for applications.
Correct. Yeah.
Like the,
I would say applications should be due by April 1st,
yeah,
because.
or is it right after the election?
I would say April 1st, just because if you have new board members coming in, we're in that process of getting people situated. And if we're still receiving applications, you know, like we want to already start prepping that packet so that whoever the new JPL is, that it's almost like it can just start going. So that would probably be my preference. You know, it definitely can be something that's discussed, but I know by that, the second Tuesday, you know, the new board is active, so JPL could meet.
And that's probably when it should be the first meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the second Tuesday?
Yeah, and I think that's better because the way we did it last year was sort of rolling interviews. We
Yeah.
had one group of us interviewing some people and another group interviewing other people, and then we didn't really have anyone who had sat in all the
Interviews, yep.
So I think it's good to do, but I don't know that we have to do the postcard soliciting until every year.
We definitely don't, and that's one thing, you know, if we still have a slew of applications.
Right.
Because it is, you know, it is somewhat difficult for someone who's put in a postcard a year ago and would really like to be considered, if people are still, and maybe, you know, if that other person is more qualified, but sometimes a piece of paper doesn't always tell everything about that person either. So, yeah, I definitely think that's something that maybe needs to be considered, maybe January, February, you know, if what we see responses for people who want their applications to still be active. If we have 75 of them, I don't know if we need to do another mailing, you know.
What do you guys think about requiring people, I think it should be a requirement to go to a meeting before you know, as part of the application, especially for something that has a real legislative or statutory meaning, such as plan, CDA, HRC. I mean, parks even, I don't know that parks has that much more formal, but ones, or DRB. I mean, there are ones that it's, like we were saying at the beginning, it's not just volunteering at a bake sale. I mean, there's like actual towers that some of these groups have.
Board review, you know,
Yeah.
you're dealing with someone's
Yeah,
assessment, you know,
you
I
got
need to be very particular, I can't just have somebody who
Right.
wants to volunteer and think that
No.
and there's a lot of questions, there's a lot of information you have to consider, you know, you only meet once, maybe twice a year, sometimes 3 times, and that's about it, and so, yeah, I definitely think, that it should, you know, I mean, in the last round last year that we had great applicants and they were fantastic, but you could get, you know,
And board
that doesn't